See, when these people in office are interviewed by these media, who's even on their side, it's obvious. Uh, they never ask the right questions when they say, it's the law. We're to obey the law when we write all this. Well, did Congress pass that policy into law? Did Congress say it is law and the executive branch says that it's going to be enforced? And the president okayed it so it can be seen as law and enforced as law? Is it really law? Did Congress pass it into law? And watch them start squirming. I would ask those questions. How can a policy, regulation, a code be seen and enforced as law when when Congress and the executive branch and the president did not approve it as law? That's the only way it can become law. The Highway Safety Act was never turned into law by Congress, the executive branch, and the president. They all never signed off on it to be seen as and enforced as law. It's not law. It's an act. And it can only be enforced onto those that work in the government. That has a business license through the government. You contracted your business to the government, so you have to obey all of that. I'm a private man, living, breathing man. I'm not a person. A person in Black's Law Dictionary, I believe it may say it in 4th edition or 3rd edition, a person is a business, a corporation. So are you a person? Are you a corporation that needs an all caps name? That's what's on that driver's license or ID you get from the state, an all caps name. That all caps, all businesses, you look around, they're all in all capital letters. Because all caps was created for corporations and businesses. So when you accept that all caps, you accept being a business now, a person. You're not seen as a living, breathing man anymore. You're now a person. And they can put your hands on you as a person. They can beat you up. They can murder you. And not go to jail or prison. That's why they're committing all this stuff against us. Because we're seen as a business, a corporation, not as a living, breathing man and woman. You're not seen as a living being, as a person with an all caps name. We have to reject all of this. We have to turn all that in and says, I don't want to be in your system no more. I want paperwork stating that has been notarized, stating that I am no longer in your system. I don't want to be a part of your club. Because that's what the driver's license is. It's hard you are telling them that you're in their club. You joined a club and you got to pay your dues, your fees, once a year or once every 4 years. And then you got to pay for this and that. And so you can have the privilege to drive. That's all it does. It turns your right under the Bill of Rights into a privilege. You need to reread what our rights are. You don't know what our rights are. Do we have the right to drive or to travel in the Bill of Rights? That's law. The government passed all that into law. It's has nothing to do with, that was over 200 years ago. It don't matter. It's the law. The Declaration of Independence is a law. It was passed by the government before that government was completely created in 1789. It was turned into law, and that's what we obey, the laws of the land, Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. And the judges are only supposed to uphold them. Read from it. What it says is what they're to enforce. They can't just say, well, I think it's this. Well, that's your opinion. Your opinion is not based upon facts. You read it as what it says, and that's how you're to enforce it. Shall not be infringed. Well, I can't write any laws against it. Shall not be violated. Well, I can't write any policies, regulations, or laws against your right to travel in your private property. It's the law. Y'all don't know what laws are, the law of the land. What man writes down is not law of the land. It's the law of man. The law of the land is natural law. It's in your heart. So it's right here is where you feel it, what's right and what's wrong. Not right here. This is opinions, theories, what you think. Not what you know right here when you feel it. This is what tells you what real law is. Not this. This just interprets what you feel here. Oh, I see someone murdering someone in cold blood, and I know that they're doing it like that, in cold blood. And I feel it right here. I don't like it right here. Well, if I don't like it right here and what I see and go, well, that is wrong, I don't like it. Well, that's the law of the land. You can't do that. Stealing. Just going out, damaging other people's property. You know it's wrong. Someone says, let's go tear this up over here, about this and that. And you know it's wrong. You know it ain't right, but then you would go and do it anyways. You ignore it. But you feel it. You know it's wrong. That's the law of the land. Law of the natural, living, breathing being. Animals even know when something's not right. Some animal comes along, kills their child to eat it. Which they have the right to do because they got to eat. But then, the parent be like, that's wrong, that was my child, and goes after them and kills them. That's the law of nature. That's the law. It may have been right for that one so it could eat and survive. But it was wrong because of this one. Because they knew it was wrong. Right here. Translated up here. It's wrong. So all these regulations, policies, mandates, ordinances, they were never passed into law by Congress. None of them. Until Congress says, yes, we're gonna create that as law. The executive branch says, okay, that looks reasonable. We're going to have it enforced by the police and the sheriffs and the troopers. And the president says, I agree. Okay, yeah, and signs it off into law. And then they would go through it again, and do all the same thing again, and then it's passed into law. Because they look over it. They got to look over it one more time. Make sure everything's right and okay. And everybody agrees. 2 chances. Or the president can say, well, I'll just sit it over here. Enough time goes by, it'll pass into law. Because I didn't veto it. That's how it works. There can be nothing can be seen as and enforced as law if Congress did not pass it into law and or did not create it as law, and then the executive branch and the president accepts it. There's only one way for anything to become law, and that's through the Congress, the executive branch, and the president. The legislative branch cannot create law. The Highway Safety Act was created under the legislative branch, not Congress. And the executive branch, it never went through any of the others because they knew that if they passed it in the law, they would be come after. So they just let it be seen, whatever is law, and see what we would do and say. They know we're ignorant to the Constitution. I love the ignorant. That's what Trump said. I love the ignorant. They don't know the Constitution. They don't know the Bill of Rights. They don't know the Declaration of Independence. They don't know our U.S. codes. They don't know our statutes. They just accept it, blind consent, without fighting to vote on them. Because everybody wants to be lazy, don't want to get up and do anything, just want to go to football games, baseball games, all this stuff the government created to keep you entertained and distracted and happy. So you don't do what you're supposed to do. Be involved in voting for stuff that, they want you to be forced under law to obey. We're supposed to be voting on all of that. Everything that they want to pass into law, we're supposed to have a say-so. But they don't want us to. We gave everybody in our past, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and the ones before them, 3 generations, they just accepted it and let it happen and didn't say, no, we need to vote on that. You can't say it's law. No, the Constitution says this. You can't make that a law. Shall not be infringed. Oh, that means you can't make that a law. It's infringing. Shall not be violated. Oh, that's violating our right to travel freely and our right to free speech or this or that. You can't enforce that. But the people don't. They just blindly sit here, accept it, and move on. It's not affecting me right now. But then when it does, you bow down, you do nothing, you act like a coward, and then 99% of everybody out there, 9 out of 10 people will bow down and let us do this. Well, we can do it to everybody. We won't do it just to those who registered to be seen as a U.S. citizen so they can vote for us to control them. We're going to enforce it upon everybody. No, they should be sitting there when they pull you over. You're a registered voter? Yeah. Well, then you're in my jurisdiction and I got control over you. You have to do everything I say. Slave. But they use those voters to enslave us all. They all manipulated everybody into accepting them as what they are today, that they're not supposed to be. They never were supposed to be like this. Never. But everybody let it. So, you all take care. Bye.